The envelope hit Lucky's desk before the meeting started. January 18th, 1936. Lucky's office. Little Italy. 9:03 a.m. 1 second. Lucky Luciano was reviewing tomorrow's commission meeting notes with Meyer Lansky. The next second, an unmarked envelope landed in front of him, containing photographs of those exact same notes, taken from inside his safe last night, by someone with a key. Meyer picked up the envelope, pulled out 4 photographs, each one showing a different page of Lucky's private commission strategy. Handwritten notes about Maranzano's successor, territory negotiations, names of allies, names of enemies. Charlie. Meyer's voice was tight. These were in your safe, your personal safe. Only 4 people have keys. Lucky stared at the photographs. His face showed nothing. No anger, no surprise, no panic. But his hands were completely still on the desk, frozen. The envelope had a message written inside. Block letters. Anonymous. Your organization has rats. Find them before the commission does. Someone was warning him. Someone who knew Lucky was about to walk into a commission meeting tomorrow with compromised information. Someone who wanted Lucky to know he'd been betrayed, but also someone who wanted to stay anonymous, which meant they were scared. Frank Costello was standing by the window, hand inside his jacket. This is a setup. Someone trying to make you paranoid before the commission meeting. No, Lucky said quietly. He was looking at the photographs, at the handwriting, at his own notes photographed from above. This is real. Someone got into my safe. Someone copied my notes, and someone else is warning me. Who has keys? Meyer asked. Lucky's voice was flat. You, Frank, Albert, Vito. The room went silent. The 4 men who had keys to Lucky's safe, the 4 men Lucky trusted with everything. One of them was a traitor, or all of them. Lucky raised his right hand, slowly, touched one photograph. The angle, the lighting, the shadow. His was taken with the safe door open, full access, not a quick grab. Someone who felt comfortable, someone who knew I wouldn't interrupt. So, Frank asked. So it wasn't forced, it was planned. Someone waited until I was gone, took their time, photographed every page, then left everything exactly as it was. Meyer leaned forward. When were you last out of the office overnight? 3 nights ago. I was in Atlantic City meeting with Nucky Thompson. Who knew you'd be gone? Lucky looked at Meyer, then at Frank, then touched a second photograph. All of you. The room went colder, because what Lucky had just said was clear. Everyone in this room was a suspect. Charlie, Meyer started. Not now, Lucky interrupted. His voice was still calm, completely calm, like he was discussing dinner plans. We're going to figure this out. But first we're going to make sure whoever did this knows I'm watching. How? Frank asked. Lucky smiled. Not warm, not friendly. The smile of a man who just decided something final. We're going to feed them false information and see where it goes. To understand what happened next, you need to understand what those photographs meant. In their world, commission meetings were sacred, private. The notes Lucky kept were life and death. Names of people he was protecting, names of people he was eliminating. Territory deals, money splits. If those notes reached the wrong hands, if other commission members saw Lucky's strategy before the meeting, they'd know exactly what he was planning, could counter every move, could turn his allies against him, could destroy him politically. Someone with access to Lucky's safe had just compromised the most important meeting of the year, and Lucky had 24 hours to find them before walking into that commission meeting blind. Frank Costello waited until Meyer left before he spoke. Charlie, you don't actually think. I don't know what to think, Lucky interrupted. He was still looking at the photographs. 4 people have keys. Someone took these pictures. Someone else warned me. I need to know who and why. So what are we doing? Lucky was quiet for a long moment. We're testing everyone, he said finally. Tonight, I'm calling each of you separately, giving different information to each. Tomorrow, I'll know which story leaked. That's playing with fire. Someone already started the fire, Frank. I'm just making sure I don't burn in it. That night, Lucky made 4 phone calls, each with different false information. Meyer, meeting moved to Brooklyn, Prospect Park. Frank, pick up documents at Pier 42, 7 a.m. Albert, meeting delayed 24 hours, don't come. Vito, bring 3 armed men, security, 4 calls, 4 lies. Tomorrow would reveal who talked. January 19th, 1936, 6:47 a.m. Lucky sat in his office, waiting. By 9 a.m., the truth was clear. Meyer knew about Brooklyn. Frank knew about the delay. Albert knew about armed men. Vito knew about Pier 42. Every story had leaked. Every single one. They were all talking to each other behind Lucky's back. Lucky stood up, walked to the center of the room, looked at Meyer, Frank, Albert, Vito. "Sit down," Lucky said. His voice was quiet, calm, final. They sat. "Last night I gave each of you different information, false information, and this morning every single one of you knew what I told the others." The room went silent, which means you're all talking behind my back, sharing information, coordinating. "Charlie, Meyer started. "Not finished," Lucky interrupted. "Someone photographed my commission notes, someone with a key to my safe, someone I trusted. And when I started investigating, all four of you started communicating with each other." Frank leaned forward. "We were trying to figure out who took the photographs. We thought working together." "Working together?" Lucky's voice was still quiet, but colder now. "You're the four people I trust most. If you wanted to investigate together, you come to me. You don't have secret conversations behind my back." "We didn't want to worry you," Vito said. "Too late." Lucky walked to his desk, pulled out a folder. "Because while you were having your secret meetings, I had someone follow all of you. Want to know what I found?" He dropped the folder on the table. Photographs spilled out. Meyer meeting with two men at a diner. Frank getting an envelope from someone at a bar. Albert talking to a stranger in a parking lot. Vito shaking hands with an unknown contact. "Those are the four rats," Lucky said. "The men you've been meeting with. The ones you thought I didn't know about." The room went completely silent. "Explain," Lucky said. "One word. Flat. Final." Meyer spoke first. "I hired a private investigator. After the photographs showed up, I thought if someone got into your safe, I needed outside help to find them. Without telling me. I didn't want to add to your stress before the commission meeting." Lucky looked at Frank. "And you?" "I contacted an information broker, someone who tracks betrayals. Paid him to find out if anyone in our organization was selling secrets. Behind my back. I thought I was helping." Lucky looked at Albert. "You?" "I talked to one of Maranzano's old soldiers. Asked if anyone had been approached about buying information on you. Without permission. I was investigating." Lucky looked at Vito. "And you?" Vito was quiet for a long moment. "Then, I contacted the commission. Asked if anyone had received information about your strategy." The room went colder. "You contacted the commission?" Lucky's voice didn't rise, didn't change. "You told them I'd been compromised?" "I didn't tell them that. You just asked if someone was selling my secrets. Which told them my operation has leaks. Which told them I can't control my own organization." Vito said nothing. Lucky walked back to the window. Looked out at Little Italy, at his territory, at everything he'd built. "Here's what's going to happen," Lucky said, still facing the window, still calm. "You're all going to kneel." Silence. "What?" Meyer asked. Lucky turned around. "You heard me, all four of you, on your knees, now." They didn't move. "Charlie, that's..." Frank started. "Now." The command came out like a gunshot. Frank flinched. Albert's hand moved toward his waistband. Albert froze, because Lucky had already drawn his weapon, aimed at the center of the room. I said kneel. One by one they knelt. Meyer first, then Frank, then Albert, then Vito. Four men, on their knees, the four men Lucky trusted most in the world. Lucky looked down at them. "I'm going to ask you one question, and depending on how you answer, you either stay in this organization or you leave New York tonight. Understand?" They nodded. "Who took the photographs?" Silence. "I'm waiting." Meyer spoke first. "Charlie, none of us took those photographs. I swear on my life." "Then who did?" "We don't know," Frank said. "That's why we were investigating. We thought if we worked together. You worked together behind my back. You hired investigators behind my back. You contacted the commission behind my back. You did everything except the one thing you should have done." "What's that?" Vito asked. "Come to me." Lucky lowered his weapon, holstered it. "Stand up." They stood, slowly, uncertain. "You four are the foundation of this organization," Lucky said. "You're my most trusted advisors, my brothers, and when a crisis happened, instead of trusting me to handle it, you went behind my back. Each of you thought you were helping. Each of you thought you knew better." "Charlie," Meyer started. "But you didn't," Lucky interrupted. "Because while you were investigating each other, I already knew who sent those photographs." The room went silent. "What?" Frank asked. Lucky walked to his desk, pulled out another envelope. The warning, the anonymous message. It came from inside the commission. Someone who wants me to know I'm being watched. Someone who's testing my organization to see if I can handle pressure. He dropped the envelope on the table. This was never about finding a traitor inside my organization. This was about finding out if my organization would turn on itself under pressure. And you four just proved we would. Lucky looked at each of them. Someone on the commission is playing games, trying to destabilize me before the meeting. And instead of presenting a united front, you four fragmented, started investigating each other, started keeping secrets. The weight of that realization settled on the room. So here's what happens next, Lucky said. Tomorrow's commission meeting happens as planned. You four come with me, united. No more secret investigations. No more going behind my back. We present strength. We show the commission that Lucky Luciano's organization doesn't crack under pressure. And after, Meyer asked, after we find out who sent those photographs, together, as a team, the way we should have done from the start. Lucky walked to the door, stopped, turned back. But tonight you four remember what it felt like to be on your knees, because that's what happens when trust breaks down, when we stop communicating, when we start keeping secrets from each other. He opened the door. Don't let it happen again. The commission meeting happened the next day. Lucky walked in with Meyer, Frank, Albert and Vito flanking him. United front. No cracks. The photographs never came up, because whoever sent them was testing Lucky's reaction. And Lucky's reaction was strength. 3 weeks later, they found the source, a clerk in the commission's office, someone who'd been paid to create chaos. They eliminated him quietly. But the real lesson had already been learned. Years later, someone asked Meyer why Lucky made them kneel. Because he needed to remind us, Meyer said. We'd started thinking of ourselves as partners, as equals, and in some ways we were. But when a crisis hit, we forgot that Charlie was the boss. We forgot that going around him, even with good intentions, was betrayal. Did it work? Meyer nodded. We never kept secrets from him again, because we remembered what it felt like to be on our knees in that office, remembered that trust flows both ways, and remembered that Charlie's strength came from us trusting him, not us trying to protect him. If this story showed you what trust means, hit subscribe. We're uncovering the moments when loyalty was tested, when 4 men on their knees learned that good intentions don't excuse broken trust. Turn on notifications. Lucky Luciano never forgot that leadership requires both power and vulnerability. Drop a comment. Would you have made them kneel or handled it differently? Lucky Luciano, 1897, Tulsline, Tul 62. The man who commanded respect, even from those closest to him. The boss who taught that trust broken, even with good intentions, still requires consequences. Rest in power.